this during the COVID era, and 3 of our 4 members of our congressional delegation opposed that legislation. But what this program seeks to do, or this funding for the EBT, I call it food stamps essentially, is it seeks to make those permanent. So we're taking a COVID era program and making them permanent. And there's 2 key things to know about this. The program as originally designed was supposed to serve lunch to students who couldn't afford food, but the program is currently designed that we would be approving today actually makes all school-age children eligible automatically. So eligibility for this program is based primarily on income. However, any student-age child that doesn't attend school is eligible for the program, any. And then if more than 25% of students at a school qualify for the program based on income, if more than 25% qualify, then all students at the school qualify for the program. The other interesting thing about the program is that there is already a federally funded summer food service program by the federal government. So that this summer EBT food stamp program is going to duplicate federal services already provided. Note that we're not just spending federal money here, because we are asking for $545,000 from the general fund for a duplicative federal program that already serves needy students. So, Senators, the thing to take away from this is we're making permanent a COVID-related program when we enter into this EBT space. It is much more than the $545,000 general fund dollars. It's over $16 million of federal funds. We're duplicating existing federal programs, and we're not just serving those people based on income. We're serving all kids in Idaho with this program. You can think of this as universal food service. I think generally we'd be opposed to universal basic income, universal housing, universal food service. That's what we've got in this budget. Senators, I would ask you to consider sending this budget back to the committee to strip out the summer EBT program. And that doesn't even get into the fact that this is an electronic debit card, an electronic food stamp, that doesn't even guarantee that our students are using it, or that our non-students, because remember they're eligible too, that they're using it for actual nutrition. They could take it down to a gas station and use it for anything. And so, Senators, I recommend we send this back and strip that out of this budget.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President,
Senator Roth.
to debate the bill.
The floor, Senator.
Senators, just to clarify any misunderstandings about what this program is, Mr. President, may I please read an email from Teresa Votter at the Idaho Food Bank? Dated this morning at 8:38.
Having cited the source and satisfied the Senate rule, the senator may read.
Thank you, Mr. President. This program, the Summer EBT program, it's a new federal program that was passed by Congress and signed into law in December 2022. Summer EBT is similar to a temporary pandemic EBT program that was previously available, but it is not a continuation or extension of a temporary pandemic assistance program. Just to clarify, this is a brand new program, and it is separate from the summer food service programs where children pick up lunches in the summer at specific locations. Think about like picnic in the park. This program is particularly important because in Idaho, we have over 40,000 children who experience food insecurity in the summer, and these rates are consistently higher in rural areas. This program will allow children, particularly in rural Idaho, who struggle with hunger in the summer when they don't have access to free and reduced lunches that they would receive in their schools. It would provide them with access to lunches and help address their food insecurities. This is an important program. Idaho will be just only responsible for the administration of it. And with that, I will be voting aye. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Is there further debate?
Mr. President,
Mayor Lenny,
to debate the bill.
you have the floor, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. What we're looking at, senators, to be very clear here, is a permanent expansion of the welfare state. That's what this is. Permission, Mr. President, to read briefly from a Wall Street Journal article from March 26, 2024 by Sam Adolphson and Paige Terryberry.
Go ahead, Senator, read it.
It's going to read the headline, Wall Street Journal here. Interesting names. This just came out a couple days ago. Biden's free lunch for rich kids. The USDA prepares to feed more school children year-round, even if their parents make six figures. That's what we're looking at here. As was already mentioned, there's the summer food service program, which is a separate deal, and now we're just seeking to give permanent food stamp EBT cards to kids, even if their parents make six figures. People talk about federal strings all the time with bills like this, with federal money. We say, what are the strings attached? This bill doesn't really have any federal strings. It has, in my opinion, federal chains. If we're looking at giving children permanent food stamp cards, this isn't where we want to go as a state in Idaho, and I encourage your no vote here.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President.
Mayor Nichols,
Mr. President, to debate the bill.
you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was supposed to be a temporary program, and like I've said before, a lot of things that we do temporary become permanent. The problem that I have with this is that it feels and it seems that we're trying to set up children to become welfare dependent. We have a lot of programs that are already in our state to be able to handle food insecurity issues. There's the WIC program, there's the summer program, the schools have food programs, we have food banks, we have churches that help with food issues, and then of course just general food stamps. So we have a lot of programs that are already put into place to be able to take care of these issues regarding food insecurity. The problem that I see is this program is easy to abuse. If we're giving kids a debit card, anyone can utilize that card. And again, it was pointed out that they can take this anywhere they want to that takes food stamps like the gas station and be able to utilize it. Our national debt is growing by $1 trillion every 100 days, and now we're going to add more onto this. There is no such thing as a free lunch, senators. But this is something that I feel is creating a problem because it is creating the environment of putting kids on welfare so that they continue to want to be on it. And I will not be able to support this. I think we need to send it back. We need to take this out, and we need to stop spending all this money.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President, he's more handsome.
Well, age before beauty.
Okay, perfect.
Sarah Taylor, you have the floor.
Thank you. Debate in favor of this bill, because when I look at this budget, what I see is hope. And that EBT program embodies the hope of about 40,000 Idaho children who might have one solid meal for the day. And that's what this EBT program will provide for them. So with that, I would hope that you would vote in favor.
Mr. President,
Senator Just,
to debate the bill,
you have the floor.
or provide a little context, I guess. We've heard gas stations come up a couple of times in debate, and I wanted to point out that with EBT cards, you cannot buy anything but groceries, snacks, and seeds or plants that will produce food. You can't buy vitamins or tobacco products or gasoline or anything like that. And with that, I would just urge support.
Mr. President, to debate the bill.
Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you. First of all, I think it's very interesting that we are calling part of this program the Self-Reliance Operation Program. I'm thinking the more we give, the more, I don't think we're going to make them self-reliant. I think that we're going to make them government reliant. the more that we increase these, and I always think of, we give them a fish, we'll have to give them a fish for the rest of their life, but if we teach them the fish, then they can be self-reliant. And so this program does not do that. But I want to give another little piece of, a little story in one of my school districts. Last summer, I went to a couple of the school board meetings where many of the parents were very upset with the fact that they were going to adopt the bathroom, the transgender bathroom issue that came in with the Biden administration, that they threatened that it's going to, he threatened that he would remove the program, the lunch program, if they didn't do this. And so the parents fought hard in my school district because they didn't think that was a proper rule for that, but that was the strings attached to that program. We have to look to see what kind of strings are going to be attached to this. But with the EBT card, too, I like to say that it goes with anything that has nutritional value, so they can go into a liquor store and buy a Monster. And it is also giving each child of that family, so if they have 10 kids, they're going to be getting a healthy sum that hopefully the parents will be buying them nutritional money. But I just think, again, the more that we give, the more we have to give. And we also have to remember, and I had shared this once before, government was never meant to be a charity. We don't get to take from somebody and give it to somebody else. That's not a charity. A charity is when it's freely given. And these programs would be best done locally with our churches, private companies, and organizations. And so I think this is only going to continue to grow. I haven't seen one of these programs decline, because the more we give, the more we have to give. And so with that, I really hope that you vote no on this.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President,
Tara Carlson.
to debate against the bill.
You have the floor, Senator.
So, the senator from, the previous senator stole my
24.
thunder. 24, thank you. I would agree with almost everything she said. I just want to add one more thing, and that is we're sending the wrong message to parents. If we're gonna give kids money to buy food, we're not requiring them to work. I know we have some hungry kids, and I would hope that our communities would take care of those hungry kids. But we're sending the wrong message to parents and kids that we're going to keep providing for everybody without needing something in return. And I believe that the message we need to be sending is we all need to work for what we get. So therefore, I will be against it.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President, to debate the bill a second time.
Does anyone wish to debate the bill for the first time? Senator Herndon.
Thank you. I just want to briefly add, in this bill on line 12 is child care subsidies, and that's $11,495,000, and that's all federal funding. And I just want to say that in my opposition to the bill, I am only focused on line 42 in the summer EBT program. But I wanted to use the child care subsidies as an example that they are designed to serve low-income families, and there are actual eligibility requirements. So, senators, if you could consider to send the bill back to the Finance Committee just for the summer EBT program. My opposition is not on the other line items. And with that, Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you. Is there further debate? Hearing none. Will the floor sponsor please stand and close the debate? Senator Van Orden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senators from 1, 17, 13, 10, 26, 15, 24, and 7 for your debate. There was a lot of discussion about this program and also the summer lunch program that's available to students. I think we talk about what we're telling parents and children when we do programs like this. People don't have to take this money. Nobody is forcing anybody to take this money. This is a program that's available. So if they don't want the EBT card, they don't need to take the EBT card. If you look down in eligibility for the program, for this program is based primarily on income and the free and reduced lunch program, except for student-age children that do not attend a school, as they will be automatically qualified per federal regulations. So there are regulations for this program. I know that's a terrible word in this body, is regulations, but there are federal regulations for qualifications for this. And like I said, there was a lot of discussion, and in the bill itself, on page 1 at the bottom, section 3, it says the Department of Health and Welfare's Division of Welfare shall provide a report to the Legislative Services Office Division of Budget and Policy Analysis on the division's plan for assisting qualifying families to improve their education, job opportunities, or income level. So we have put summer EBT program reporting intent language into this bill so that we can get information back and we can evaluate it for the next year and see if it is what we want. If it is not, then we can look at it again next year in a budget. And with that, debate is closed.
Debate is closed. The question before.
Before we vote, I ask the Senate go to ease.
The objection, the Senate go to ease. Let's go ahead and walk through the well.
Secret meeting. The Republicans are going to a secret meeting. There they go.
What this thing?
Or maybe it's not secret. It's a powwow.
consider. Let's skinny on that.
Each one of you probably left a lifelong impact on one member or two or more in this body. I can assure you that those good ladies up there and gentlemen all can probably tell better stories about you than we heard today. But we want you to know we appreciate you. You did an amazing job. We look forward to hearing from you as you go out through your life, and we hope to use your experience here to make the world a better place. And remember, we loved you and have a good time. Stay in touch. Thank you. Now you gotta go back to work.
What you're hearing is the House, and they just recognize the pages, and since there is no audio,
Every time we do that, it's fun because you learn
this
something new
is
about all
Senator
of them. It's
Dees
those little life experiences
for
that
this bill,
make them individually and unique, but
and see what they come back with.
stuff to know about them.
After Mr. Anthon's put the Senate at ease, and they're off camera somewhere talking about it,
House be in order.
you'll listen to this.
House will now advance to the fourth order of business, consideration of message from the governor and the Senate. The House set the fourth order of business.
This is on Idaho in session. And you, the legislative
From the
session.
Office of the Governor, March 27th, 2024. Dear Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to advise you that I have signed on March 27th, 2024, and am transmitting to the Secretary of State the following House Bill to wit, House Bill 689, sincerely Brad Little, Governor of Idaho.
Now, you
From
can
the
watch
Senate,
all this
March
online.
27th, 2024. Mr. Speaker, I
Or listen
transmit
to it.
herewith
You don't
enrolled
have to
Senate
watch
Bills
it, just listen to
1276,
it.
1277, 1327, 1328
And
as
learn a
amended,
lot.
and 1376 as amended for the signature of the
Thank
Speaker,
goodness for
Novak, Secretary of
PBS.
the Senate.
Senate Bill
In Idaho in
1276,
session.
1277, 1327, 1328 is amended, 1376 is amended. We signed by the Speaker and returned to the Senate.
March 27th, 2024. Mr. Speaker, I return herewith enrolled House Concurrent Resolutions 42, 43, and 31, which have been signed by the President, Novak, Secretary of the Senate.
Utah's session is only 45 days.
3 and 31 were
Idaho
delivered to the
is 80 days. Or 85, isn't it? Twice as long.
March 26th, 2024. Mr. Speaker, I transmit herewith Senate
Utah
Bills
has a
52 and 1440.
A $33 billion budget. Idaho is $13 billion.
The Senate will be in order. Prior to going to these, the Senate was in the 13th order of business. We had debated Senate Bill 1445, and we were on the verge of voting. And we are there now. The Secretary will call the roll on the passage of Senate Bill 1445.
Adams.
Mr. President.
Mayor Adams, you have 60 seconds to explain your vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. The sponsor spoke about school-age students. I have a school-age student in my house, but he's not going to be applying for an EBD card. As the adult, I will, or won't. I've seen the benefits of summer lunch programs and lunch programs in general. This is not that. This is something very different. This actually reminds me of ration cards. Having grown up in the former Soviet Union, this looks like ration cards to me. The state will feed you, clothe you, and shelter you, but there's something in exchange, and so this senator votes nay.
Senator Adams votes nay.
You're Russian, eh?
Anthony. Burned. Bjerke.
Mr. President.
Senator Bjerke, you have 60 seconds to explain your vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good senators, I worked on this, and I'm willing to work again if that's the will of the body. This senator votes nay.
Senator Bjerke votes nay.
Burtonshaw. Carlson. Cook. Den Hartog. Foreman. Grove. Guthrie. Harris. Hart. Hartkin. Herndon. Just. Lakey. Lee. Lenny. Lent. Nichols. Okonowitz. Patterson, Robbie, Ricks, Schroeder, Samaroff, Shea, Taylor, Taves, Trakel, Van Orden, Winder, Wintrow, Seiderveld, Burnt, Cook, Schroeder, Winder, Wintrow.
Mr. President, 60 seconds.
Sarah Wintrow, you have 60 seconds to explain your vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is really sad to me because I did visit food banks over the summer. I talked with people who are working with the Department of Ag, and there are a lot of our kids at no fault of their own don't have enough to eat and their nutrition lacks. And we're splitting hairs here on kids to eat over the summer. This is a very sad day for me. The senator votes aye.
Senator Wintrow votes aye.
Mr. President,
Senator Burtonshaw.
could you tell me what my vote was?
Senator Burtonshaw, your vote was aye.
Change it to an A, please.
Senator Burtonshaw will change his vote to no.
So much for the 44,000 children that are hungry in Idaho.
The vote count shows 10 in favor with 25 against. A majority having voted against Senate Bill 1445, the Senate bill has failed to pass the Senate and will be retained in the office of the Secretary.